So recently I went to the depths of my Steam library and found a game that I had completely forgotten about. Raft. Now, usually with games like Raft, I don't bother playing them. Whenever I play survival games like, for example, Minecraft, I usually am in the company of a friend or two to enjoy their company and possibly team up to make the game easier to survive. But Raft is the one survival game that I am willing to tackle entirely on my own. And honestly, I haven't played the game in over a year, so I got to wondering, is Raft even worth playing in 2024? Well, today we're gonna find out. Raft came out on May 23rd of 2018, but only for early access. It was fully completed on June 20th of 2022, and boy, when I first heard the premise of this game, I had to have it. I grabbed the game way back in 2018 and played it with a friend for about 3 months before dropping it completely until just recently last month. And fun fact, I just re-stumbled upon it completely by chance. One of my friends was talking about it, and then I thought to myself, why does this sound like Raft? And then I went through my Steam library, cleaning things out, and I found it. So, time to make a video about it! To start with this game, you start on a tiny little itty-bitty raft, and you have nothing to your name except for an ocean full of planks, plastic, and leaves. Oh, and I guess you also have the raft to your name, but the wildlife sure doesn't care. And you're basically expected to figure it out. I just started picking up everything and anything that I saw in the water and started crafting like an absolute maniac. But yeah, it was fun to revisit the beginning of the game and relearn some of the crafting recipes because, oh my god, the recipes are quite interesting. And I completely forgot how interesting they were. Not gonna lie, it kind of felt like a messed up jigsaw puzzle at times. Basically, from the start, this game is taking no prisoners. You either live or you die a horrible death in this game. I ended up surviving pretty well throughout the first bit of the game. One of my biggest objectives was, you know, making the raft pretty. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, wow, Embur, you didn't upgrade your stuff first before you decided to make your raft pretty? Isn't that a late game thing? Don't judge me, okay? I just wanted to make my raft beautiful. But all seriousness, I knew I was going to have to progress in the story somehow. So I ended up coming up with the genius plan of fortifying my boat. Yeah, I was very protective of my precious little raft. Especially since I was a gosh darn idiot and put my chest on a corner piece. And lost that chest because I wasn't paying attention. One thing I did not know in Raft is that apparently there is a story. And I'm gonna give you the basics without any, severe, spoilers. Basically, the basics of the story is that the polar ice caps have melted due to rising temperatures, flooding the planet and leaving very little dry land. And plans to reverse the flooding failed, and the world's elite abandoned dry land to live in the floating cities. Now, as the player, which I believe her name is Maya, correct me if I'm wrong, she sits out on a raft in search of a rumored utopia where there is still dry land. And that's where the story is, basically. You're this character floating on this little raft trying to find dry land. Now, I personally haven't invested too much into this story, but from what I heard, it's apparently really good. Now, I personally did not dive too deeply into the story because, well, like I said before, I was more focused on making my raft pretty and upgrading everything. So I really didn't have a lot of time to commit to the story. But it's something I would love to do in the future. One thing I'm gonna warn you about in Raft, though, you're gonna need a lot of food and water. If you choose any difficulty aside from literal creative mode or easy mode, you're gonna need a lot of food and a lot of water. Like, a lot. I'm not kidding around. I must have gone through 15 pieces of wood on both the purifier and the grill in the early game. You better be grabbing that wood, making a spear, getting a container, purifier, grill, and a shit ton of wood as fast as you can. I genuinely struggled the first few hours of the game. But after a while, I got the hang of it, and I managed to build up a pretty good stockpile of wood and, food and water. But boy, oh gosh, I really hope y'all, the first time y'all play, you don't pick hard mode, because I played hard mode for this part, and honestly, I didn't last more than 15 minutes. It was pure torture. Now, combat in this game is pretty iffy. The main danger you'll encounter is the shark. This bastard will constantly circle your raft and attempt to bite part of it off. Now, you just gotta poke him with the stick 3 times to get him off, if you have the wooden spear. And it takes about 30 hits to kill him with said wooden spear. However, in later game, you can cut this in half with either a metal spear or stone arrows, taking only 15 hits to get the job done. And you can even cut it into thirds, taking only 10 hits with metal arrows or a machete to take out the shark. Yeah, combat over time evolves as you get later into the game, but one thing you definitely want to stock up on is those arrows, and especially get your hands on a bow. There are other enemies in the game like the warthog, the screecher, the pufferfish, grizzly bears, and many others. But the ones I mainly encountered were the screecher and the warthog. These things genuinely scared me to no end when I first encountered them, especially the screecher. Overall, these things are pretty difficult to kill if you don't have a bow. You're stuck with this pathetic little wooden spear, and trust me, it ain't easy to get a good hit on these things. But to kill the screecher, you need a bow. You require a bow to kill it. Sure, I've seen some absolute maniacs kill the screecher with the wooden spear, but I'm not that crazy. Now, with trial and error, these two aren't that bad to deal with. This is just me personally, but the pufferfish to me felt like a joke. And as of yet, I've never encountered anything else other than the warthog, the screecher, and the pufferfish. So I can't really speak on the rest of the enemies, but according to Erica, she told me these words. Those creatures are a nightmare mixed with hell and had a child that's worse than a New York dumpster. Alright, I'm gonna take her word for it. Now this is what I believe. As risky as it is taking on some of these creatures, the reward is well worth the risk, especially in the food department, which you need a lot of if you're in any mode aside from creative and easy. Moving on, one of my all-time favorite things about the game is the presentation. The graphics are absolutely beautiful. And another thing that I love seeing was the animals that you see in the ocean as you drift on your raft, such as whales, turtles, and dolphins. Yeah, there are seagulls, but they'll just eat your potatoes and beets you're trying to grow if you're not careful. You can also capture birds, goats, and llamas that you find on the islands and raise them on your raft once you make a place for them. Now, me personally, I had never done that because I never got the net thing that you need to catch them. I just used some of the little animals for target practice because I didn't know that it was possible to catch them. Even though I had the net launcher recipe. Yeah, I am not really the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to this stuff. Please leave me alone. But yeah, the graphics are actually really freaking pretty for a 2018 game. I'm not gonna lie. Now, one thing I am positive y'all are going to come at me in the comments about is, you didn't talk about the story nearly enough. You need to talk about the story. I wish I could tell y'all more about the story, but again, I never fully finished it, and it's still a challenge that I'm trying to beat to this day. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to spoil it for anyone who may want to play this game. It's a great game, and at its peak pulled in 100,000 people in June of 2022. I highly recommend getting this game if you have any love for single-player or multiplayer survival games. Sure, there's not much to do once you finish the story, but it's all up to your imagination. Like, maybe upgrading your raft, maxing out your gear, and maybe make a little nice home on your raft. Overall, I'd rate this game an 8.5 out of 10. The endgame could use an update, and some things need to be patched. But overall, I enjoyed playing the game again, and I'd 100% recommend it for anyone who enjoys these kind of games. Hello everyone, Outro Embur here. I just wanted to let y'all know you are amazing for watching to the end of this video. I know it's a lot shorter than my usual videos, but I wanted to try something new and talk about one of my favorite survival games on Steam. Will there be more videos like this? Well, if y'all wanna, I might give it a shot. Aside from that, thank you Lufiness for drawing the thumbnail. I think it's absolutely adorable and you did a really good job. Good job, buddy, good job. Also, I just wanted to point out that I did use Chi Beyond's video footage and Friendly Phaser Games. I don't know, the name is up on screen. I wanted to let y'all know that I used their video footage, and their links will be in the description down below and in the pinned comment, along with Lufina's links. Also, forgive me for how I sound. It is currently 5 AM. Back to high quality outro Embur. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, like I said before, but now it's time for me to go and work on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye!